So Edward, one of the things that we did is this class now has an ethics and leadership flag in it, and I think that we talk about ethics throughout the whole class, but one of the things that would be really helpful is, are there any kind of things that maybe on the surface don't look like ethical dilemmas that you may have seen or faced or experienced that could give them some insight into some of the ethical challenges that people might have in sales?
Yeah, so one of the first ones that comes to mind is we have metrics, and different teams have a different way of achieving those metrics. I think one thing that is kind of left up to question is how you achieve those metrics. They just kind of say, here's your numbers, go for it.
Yeah.
And every team has a different way of achieving that. And I can look at the way that I do it and, think that I'm working with integrity and look at another team and say, well, they've made half as many phone calls as I have, yet, they're seeing more success in their numbers. How is that,
Yeah.
right? And people can even look at me the same way and say that I've made more phone calls than him and I don't have this. So you kind of have to, especially in sales, I would say ask for forgiveness and not permission a lot of the times, at least in this position, because you do have to be a self-starter. You do have to be a self-motivator. And if you're just going to go around and say, can I do this, can I do that, everybody's going to give you a different answer.
Interesting.
Right? They're all going to give you a different answer. So, you want to make sure you align with your virtual team, right? But other than that, you kind of just have to go for it. If I ever feel uncomfortable with something, I won't do it, right? But if it's kind of left up in the air, sometimes I'm just going to take my chances and go for it. And that's kind of sales. I wouldn't say so much cutthroat, but it is a little competitive. Even within my own team of people in my same role, not even my virtual team, but my team of SDRs, right? The better I do, the better the team does, and the better my coworker over here does, the better I do. So you kind of work together and you figure out the culture of your team. And you say, how do you do this? How is it typically done on this team? And that's kind of a good way to make sure that you're in a line, at least with the team's ethics.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, having had you in class, I can say that you were, you're such an honest person, you're such a trustworthy person, and you come across that way. And when we talk about ethics, I think so much of it does fall on the individual's shoulders. And I like the fact that you're talking about the fact that you're aligning your ethical decisions with the people that are around you, and you're double checking and you're making sure that you're on target. And then occasionally you don't have anybody to turn to, and you push it a little, but you don't push it so far where you start to feel like you're really facing an ethical dilemma.
Right.
Good.
That's what's most important is to make sure that everybody's on the same page. I'm not saying if my team jumps off a bridge, I'm going to jump off a bridge.
Sure.
But there's definitely people who've been there longer than I have, and they have something to say, and to some extent, it's, if you really want to hit your number per se, you're going to have to do this. It's not wrong.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It may seem that way, but like I said, you could even talk to your manager if it really comes to that point.
Sure.
But never in my position have I been uncomfortable with anything that I've done or gotten in trouble for anything that I've done. You have to be willing to be uncomfortable with some of your tactics and kind of change it up all the time, right? Like I said, it is competitive, but I'm also in it with my team. I'm competing with them, and that's the fun part of it. Yeah. But we also support each other, we don't want to see anybody get in trouble or anybody really, have a lot of guilt for what they've done. We want them to feel proud of their work.
Oh, that's wonderful. What a great way to talk about ethics.
Yeah.
That at the end of the day, you want to feel proud of the work that you do and not have guilt.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
I think that's really helpful.